Welcome to another poetry night here at 8 Letters Bookstore and Publishing. I'm your host and also your creative director for today, Cindy Wong. For today, we have several writers, several poets who are going to deliver their selected poems for us today. So please feel free to all the viewers out there, please feel free to comment, like, and share this video. So our first performer, our first poet is Darelle Anro Martinez. So I'm going to read his bio and then we'll get him up on stage as well. So si Darelle ay isang guro at manunulat na tubong Marinduque. Siya ang sumulat ng librong Mayo 1, Mangingibig sa Third World. Layon niyang ihayag ang kanyang damdamin sa pamamagitan ng pagtula. Madalas siyang sumulat ukol sa pag-ibig, kamatayan at samot-saring isyong panlipunan. Ang kanya pong tulang babasahin ay, ang una ay Hindi Ako si Peter Parker at ang pangalawa ay Liham para kay Panganay. Yan. So, hi Darelle, kumusta?
Kumusta po kayo?
Yan.
Okay lang naman po.
Ayun. So, bago tayo pumunta sa pagbabasa, pwede mo bang i-share sa amin kung tungkol saan ang Hindi Ako si Peter Parker at ang pangalawang tula, Liham para kay Panganay?
Since ang topic po natin ngayong araw is about confession, confession yung title nung pagbasa. So, naisip kong basahin yung tulang Hindi Ako si Peter Parker. Kasi kinikwento nito yung kwento ng isang lalaking umiibig pa rin. Parang nandun pa rin yung pag-ibig sa dati na iniibig. Tapos yun naman pong Liham para kay Panganay, it is also connected to the theme na confession kasi meron tungkol sa kwento ng isang sabihin natin unconditional love na minamahal mo yung isang tao kahit alam mong meron pa siyang ibang ginagawa or meron pa siyang ibang bagay na gustong unahin kaysa sa'yo. Parang ganun yung yung gusto niyang ihatid sa ating lahat. Parang unconditional love.
Ayun, salamat sa pag-share. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Darelle Anro Martinez.
Ayan. Good evening everyone. I am Darelle Martinez. So, ngayong gabi, babasahan ko kayo ng dalawang tula mula sa libro kong Mayuuno Mangibig sa Third World. No? At yung unang tula nga ay pinamagatang Hindi Ako Si Peter Parker. So, lahat naman tayo siguro na in love na. At kagaya ni Peter Parker, naiwan ka na nakabitin. So, basahin natin siya. So, hindi ako si Peter Parker. Hindi ako si Peter Parker. Pero meron akong Peter Tingle. Spider sense ang sabi sa pelikula. Pero hindi ko nararamdaman sa oras ng disgrasya, kundi sa oras na malapit ka. Yung pagtindig ng balahibo, yung kilig, yung adrenaline, yung mga kabayo sa dibdib. Hindi ako si Peter Parker. Wala akong spiderweb. Ako nga itong nasabit sa pag-ibig. Tila sapot ng gagamba. Nahihirapang makawala. Hindi ako si Peter Parker at hindi ako isang superhero. Ako ang nangangailangan ng tulong mo. Minsan mo na ako iniwang nakabitin, Mary Jane, nakasabit pa rin ako. Ayan, yun yung una nating tula. So, ayun, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, tinatopic niya si Peter Parker kasi di ba, alam naman natin siya si Spider-Man, pabitin-bitin, at yung character dun sa tula na binasa natin ay kagaya ni Spider-Man na naiwang nakabitin sa ere. And at this time, hindi siya yung taong sasagip sa'yo. No? Si Peter Parker ngayon, si Spider-Man ngayon, yung kailangan ng pagsagip. Yeah. So ngayon, dumako tayo sa pangalawang tula na pinamagatang Liham para kay Panganay. This is something personal. Bukod dun sa unang pahiwatig na, kasi panganay din ako. At mamaya, pag narinig nyo ko yun na yung nilalaman, mas maintindihan nyo na makaka-relate ka dito sa iba't ibang mga paraan. Basahin natin siya. Liham para kay Panganay. Tinanong mo ako kung papaano ang dala mong ekstrang bagahe. Ang sabi ko, ilagay mo lang sa tabi. Maupo ka at ipagtitimpla kita ng paborito nating kape. Magkukwentuhan, magkakatuwaan, magkukumustahan, hanggang sa mga ito'y ating makalimutan. Dadalawin tayo ng antok at ang mga ito'y gagawin nating unan. Bukas, isa-isa ko itong ilalabas para mahanginan. Isasabit, isasampay. Parte na rin ito ng aking damitan. Mahal kita. Pati na rin ang mga bagay na di mo kayang iwan. Ayan, that's our second poem na Liham para kay Panganay. Yung mga responsibilidad natin na hindi natin maiwan kasi panganay tayo, and at the same time yung mga minahal natin na may minamahal pang iba pero parang ang sarap pa rin nilang mahalin kahit may natitira pang pagmamahal sa nauna sa atin. Ayan, so that's my confession for tonight, and I'm in love.
Ayun. Wow, bravo. Thank you so much, Coach Darelle, sa pag-share niyan. So, actually, nakaka-relate ako doon sa Liham para kay Panganay. Yeah, so as you guys all know, I'm also a panganay, and yeah, ang daming sacrifices. And para naman doon sa nauna mong tula na hindi ako si Peter Parker, I'm sure sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon o sa mga nanonood ng replay, may makaka-relate din dyan.
Yes.
Coach Da, saan ba namin mababasa yung mga libro mo?
Sa ngayon po, meron tayo sa 8 Letters na bookstore, diba? Yung website po natin. Meron din po tayo sa Shopee, and meron din po tayo sa Lazada. So may mga pagkakataon din po na dumadayo ako ng para bumasa ng mga tula. So if ever na makita nyo na nag-post ako na magbabasa ako ng tula, siguradong may dala akong kopya ng aking libro na ayan,
Mhm.
pinagbibili, no? Uh,
Ayun,
maraming paraan para makuha siya.
ayun. So, isa sa mga bestseller natin yan, yung libro ni Coach Darelle, Mayo Uno, Mangingibig sa Third World. Ayun. Maraming salamat, Coach Darelle.
Thank you rin
Ayun.
po.
Ayun. And sa susunod naman, we have Rosanna Daep. So, she will be reading a poem entitled Loving You in Silence. Rosanna Daep is known for her evocative and introspective nature. Her works draw heavily from her personal experience and memories, capturing her thoughts and feelings in a raw, unfiltered manner. It highlights strength and resilience that convey genuine emotion even when the situation is painful, resonating her works with depth and authenticity. Without further ado, let me call Rosanna on stage. Hi, Rosanna. How are you?
Hi, Coach. I'm okay po.
Ayun, welcome to the second online poetry night. Loving You in Silence, is this also an excerpt from your book collection or where did this come from? Bagong poem pa siya?
Bagong tula po talaga ito, Coach. Like, kakasulat ko pa lang siguro mga months ago. So, wala pa po siya sa book. Pero hopefully soon, maisa sa libro din po.
Ayun, for those of you na hindi nakakilala kay Rosanna, she's also one of the Eight Letters authors at marami na rin siyang, tulanan na sulat and also meron din siyang poetry collections with Eight Letters. So, Rosanna, without further ado, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So, loving you is in silence. It's an internal struggle that reflects unspoken desires that exist in friendships. So, this poem is for anyone who has experienced the ache of loving someone from afar. Okay. Loving you in silence. I remember that Friday night, alone in the middle of nowhere, listening to the beat of my wounded heart. I don't know, maybe I'm a little lost. I'm a little lost. But you appeared right on time. The spontaneous appearance of you to me made my world a little brighter. For the first time in many years, I could feel that the world was happy. I wasn't aware I was catching feelings. Is it foolish to catch feelings? I'm afraid I might ruin what we have because I didn't see you as a friend. Can I be greedy for once? I wanna make you mine. Will you let me love you in this distance? Will you let me love you in the silence? I've never been this fascinated, never been this wounded. But I know you'll never be mine. Never be mine. Will you let me love you in the distance? Will you let me love you in the silence? I've never been this fascinated, never been this wounded. But I know you'll never be mine. Never be mine. And maybe if it's okay, I would plead with Cupid for us to meet. Even for once, even for once. I wish I'll be given a chance to express what's in my heart and say goodbye if it's necessary. But if not, I let this pen bleed for the last time, loving you in silence.
Nice! Thank you, Rosanna. Pwede bang tanungin kung sino yung inspirasyon mo dito?
I think it's from personal experience, honestly. Like, we are admiring someone from afar. And yeah, the ache of loving someone from afar.
Parang feeling ko sinagot mo yung tula ni Darrell kanina, which was yung nga, yung hindi ako si Peter Parker. So parang I can sense like sort of a similarity na I'm not sure when it comes to confessions, eto first two poems pa lang natin, we're already referring to some, things that you don't prefer to say or parang gusto mo nalang itago. Last question, Rosanna. Yun nga. sabi mo kanina, inspired by real life.
Yeah.
How does it feel confessing it here online?
I think it's really freeing because it's through the words and poetry. Because I can't say that in real life.
Yeah, great. So sana may ma-confess ka pa next month. Ayun. Ayun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rosanna. And of course, saan ba namin pwedeng mabasa yung iba mo pang sinusulat?
Okay. So, you can read my works po sa 8 Letters Publishing. Meron din po sa Lazada, Shopee. And yung self-published po is meron din po sa Gumroad and Amazon. Yeah. Please
Ayan.
support us po.
Yay! Thank you, Rosanna.
Coach.
Ayun. Hindi naman lahat ng guests natin dito sa online poetry night writers ng 8 letters. We also want to promote writers or poets din kahit hindi sila under ng 8 letters. Or sana, hopefully, maging under din sila soon. The next poet is Cristina A. Montes. So she's a lawyer. This is also her second time here sa ating poetry night. So she's a lawyer, legal scholar, and a writer. She has published several scholarly articles. Human interest features articles, op-ed essays, and poems. She also wrote and published Amihan, a novelette, a work of YA historical fiction, which she wrote to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Christianity in the Philippines in 2021, and which was one of the finalists for the Young category of the Cardinal Sin Catholic Book Awards in 2022. Today, or tonight, she's going to read a poem entitled After the Fiesta. Hi, Christina. Welcome. Welcome back.
Hi, good evening. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, what is After the Fiesta all about?
Actually, I wrote this as part of yung Southeast Asian Poetry Writing Month. It's
Mm.
every August yan. Poets would probably the poets would like to join that, no? May mga prompts every day. Nataon the prompt for that day was your national dress. Sa atin yung Barat Saya. And I didn't really think of anything profound about our national dress, just the experiences that I had wearing it. Syempre, experiences, the emotions, especially like my poem, it's a coming of age poem that I wrote using that prompt. It's amazing, like poetry, we have a prompt na kung saan na napupunta. Anyway.
Oh, ayun. I can see na your common theme is mostly YA. And I mentioned earlier na you've published Amihan, which is a
Yes.
novelette. Yan. We can talk about that later on. But
Yes.
then this time around, it's a poem After the Fiesta, which is also coming of age. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hear that. So without further ado, perhaps the floor is now yours.
After the fiesta, like Cinderella after midnight, I wonder if it was all real. Rondalia music, festive lights, relatives saying I'm a lady, a smile from a nice young man. Never mind that I laughed too loudly, stepped on his toes on my way to the buffet, and splattered sauce on my barot saya. Tonight, I was a lady and felt like one. Now I take one last chance to admire myself in the mirror, made up, perfumed, well coiffed, wearing my barot saya, knowing that once I shower and change into my nightgown and hang up my barot saya for dry and cleaning the next day, the fiesta will be over.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Christina? Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
So,
Yes.
okay, great. Can you, so you wrote this poem because there was a prompt, but was there anything else that inspired you uh, to write this
Well,
poem?
I wanted to, I guess, go back. I guess it's a universal feeling, all of us. We go to that adolescent awkward stage where we want to belong, where we want to, where we, are worried about whether we are getting things right, no? And it seems that that adolescent awkward stage, sometimes it feels that we don't really get over it. Like, even in middle age, I still feel that sometimes, and I'm sure other listeners can really be able to relate with it. So yun lang yung naiisip ko. Oo.
Yeah, and I feel like even as an adult, I feel like I'm stuck in an adolescent emotions.
Mhm.
Especially doon sa minention mo kanina na when you also think about not just your own emotions but also what probably what other people um,
Yes, what other people think. Yes,
think about you.
yes. Without
So yeah,
realizing that, whether it's us thinking about, is wondering also what other people will think about them. So
yeah, I think
yeah.
it's human nature na even until now, even if until you're older,
Mhm, mhm.
you
Yes.
still think about that. And
Mm.
yeah, thank you so much, Christina, for sharing that with us. So, with regards to Amihan,
Yes.
I also want to share with our audience that after the first online poetry night,
Mhm.
you shared with us a little bit about the Amihan book. Um, can we also share that with the audience, what the book was all about? Because when I was reading um, what it was about earlier, parang, I think it's worth sharing and people should know about
Mhm.
this book.
Thank you. Yes.
Mhm.
Like what you said, I wrote it when you were celebrating the 500th anniversary of Christianity in the Philippines. Of course, we know the history. We know that Magellan came, and we know that some of the Filipinos embraced Christianity. Um, pero do we really know what is it like? What were the struggles of the internal struggles, the internal experiences? What is it that made people accept Christianity, no? Yung narrative na sinasabi sa atin na pinilit lang sila, but is that really true? Is there baka naman there's something about Christianity that they found attractive, no? Yung mga ganito ba, these are the themes that I want to explore, no? And parang how do they react when they see the human element that Christians not only do not always practice what they preach, no? So um I wanted to explore these issues, so I wrote this book, a book of historical fiction, no? Mm. Yun.
And most importantly, Christina, where can we avail the book?
Right now, I'm still working on the trying to find a more
Mhm.
efficient way to distribute it. Right now, I'm
Mhm.
just selling it privately among family and friends. Um, I'm still struggling to find how to distribute, how to market it more. Sometimes I sell it minsan I set up booths sa mga churches, ganon.
Mhm.
Hopefully I find a way to make it reach a wider audience kasi
Mhm.
yeah, I
It
think the
should be
story has
read.
to be told. Yes, it should be read.
Yes, yes. We'll discuss more about that siguro later on.
Yes,
But
yes,
yes,
let's discuss.
thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you
Thank you,
very much for giving me
Christina.
this opportunity
Salamat.
to share my work. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, see you next month again. Ayun.
Definitely. I
Thank,
definitely. Thank you very much for
thank you. Okay, so thank you, Christina. Our second to the last poet for the night, we have Kristin Cruz. So, okay, I'm going to read the titles of her poems, and I just think it's so interesting. Um, very confession themed, and also they're very unique. So, the first poem is entitled I Wasn't Meant to Write the Love Poems You'd Buy in Bulk. I'm not sure if I copied that correctly, but that's the first poem. The second poem is entitled "I Hope Your Bitterness Settles." Yeah, yeah, that's the second poem. Let me read a little bit about her before I get her up on stage. So, Kristin Cruz is a recruitment and digital marketing professional, freelance writer, and hobbyist painter, and frustrated sociology and philosophy enthusiast. She graduated with a psychology degree in 2019 at De La Salle College of St. Benilde, Antipolo, and has volunteered as an advocate and contributor for youth based mental health organizations as early as 2017. At the moment, she dreams of a slow life where she can create whatever she wants at her own pace when she's not drafting a corporate letter or working on anything digital marketing. You can find her doing the following, but not in this order: reading a good book, scavenging for a good book, sketching, painting, journaling, junk journaling, obsessing over an obscure Czechoslovakian surrealist film, or anything by Miyazaki or Del Toro. Cooking, finding a cafe to relax in, and creating new things while a nice documentary plays in the background. Wow, Christine, we should be friends. But hi.
Hi, I'm so sorry. That was a mouthful. I didn't mean to make you go through that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Quite a mouthful, but okay lang. Um, yeah, so much achievements.
I
And I
guess
sabi ko we should be friends because I feel like I
you and
have
I
the
would get along.
same. Yeah. Uh, but Christine, well, of course, the floor is yours. Please spend it wisely. Yun lang
All right.
masasabi ko. Okay.
So can everyone hear me? Ayan, so ang haggard ko. Anyway, so I'll start with my first one. I wasn't meant to write the love poems you'd buy in bulk. In the pages where flowers would dry being pressed are stories that have gripped the nation. Of the ones who got away, situationships left in tears, manic obsessions, goodbyes leading to a love so passionate, so dysfunctional, a dance forms in the peripheral of our visions. There, us, the islands of stowaway desire, suppressed and packed like tea leaves by the bitter truth of living where we are, decades and on decades of oppression have led us to desire a type of love we cannot reach. But I can't write about the kind of love I don't yearn, now can I? I do not yearn to be anything except myself, free and unapologetic. Sometimes this sort of freedom tastes too bold and metallic for everyone's taste. The ink bleeds too much and no one can see themselves, and the pages look like a mess that cannot be fixed. The world cannot be forced to find me beautiful either. Maybe the funeral started too soon and I haven't offered anything to the right muse, but I can only write about the kind of love that hurts me and healed me. The kind of love I can laugh with on a Saturday morning, dancing to Oasis while it rains and we're barefoot. The kind of love I can picture on the train ride home one gloomy night when the world can only glow from the inside. This is the butterfly I'll release, the piece of negativity burned on candle flame. How I could never conform to anything else other than myself all these years. This is for the what ifs and the pieces I could never write. The fan fiction, the clever smut, the feel good killing poems you could send to someone you're loved but are unsure of. The boys with guitars and commitment issues, and the girls with the red fox haircuts and manic pixie confines she can't get out of. This eulogy is for the self that has never existed or never existed yet. Sometimes I think you'd be happier in blissful conformity while the world turns and you make everyone happy with your straightforward metaphors and extras happy verses. Maybe you'd romanticize 7-Eleven sandwiches more and have a better tolerance to coffee and terrible fiction. What sort of existence would you be? Would you create for everyone else and never yourself, my sweet? Thank you. That's my first poem. Right, so I'll go to my second. I'll wait until before I move forward. Yung pamangkin ko po, by the way. Hi!
Hello, hello, welcome.
Hi!
Gusto niya rin, gusto niya rin.
Hi! Nagay din siya. Sige na, go dun na. Sorry. Dun, 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 dun. Come on.
Ayun. Ako nga pala,
Okay, we're
Christine,
gonna move.
sabihin ko lang din na nag-e-echo yung isang mic. Oo.
I am so sorry. Hang
No
on, let me...
worries. All good. Okay, whenever you're ready.
having solution. I just turned the other my cell phone off kasi wala akong webcam. That was like the only solution I
Mhm.
had so you guys can see me, but that's okay. So it's like echo
Okay.
siya. I think hindi na I think that's better. Okay. So in my
Okay.
second poem, I hope your bitterness settles. I hope you're still recognizable from the last time we spoke. Last time you were eating your heart out to a point that I bled for you too. We were in towers too tall to leave, yet I pulled down my hair for your sake. I put my life on pause way too many times for you, a real fraying at the edges while you sat back and spun deeper and deeper into rabbit holes no shovel deep enough could dig you out of. But I wish I wasn't so angry with you. We were both wounded, and at times I was your only friend. Sometimes the tea steeps for too long, your cup turns bitter, so bitter I couldn't swallow anything, let alone reflect on everything. I know I could have been better, the chickens have settled into the morning. But I'm not ready for a cup with you yet, if at all. My body is still sore from all the times I lifted you up, and my tongue hasn't recovered from the burns in our old friendship. I lit a candle for its death before sitting back on my chair and letting sunlight through the windows. I hope that when we drink tea again, your bitterness settles. If not, I still hope you well. So there, that's my other poem. Very confession.
Very confessional. Thank you, Christine, for sharing that. Siguro, ang matatanong ko lang din sa'yo is, I can sense your style with these two poems. So first,
Thank
once
you.
again, I wasn't meant to write the love poems you'd buy in bulk. Like, wow, it's not very often na, we have that kind of poem na mahaba yung title. So
Yeah.
perhaps yung question ko dito is, where did you get your, firstly the inspiration and also yung influence din sa pagsusulat
Okay.
ng poem? Mhm.
Man, okay, those are really good questions.
Hmm.
Last year I actually participated in one of your January challenges where you have to write like a poem every single day for the month of January. That was last year. And at the same time, that was the very month my grandmother died. So all of my poems have been like about grief. I'm not sure if you remember me in that sense. While I was writing, I kind of realized that without me knowing, like without me ever trying to force myself into exploring grief, I explored grief anyway. So the
Hmm.
poem, I wasn't meant to write the love poems and buy in bulk. It got to a point where I was exploring the grief around my old self. It was like a reflection I made where in a lifetime you witness 1,000 funerals of yourself. So that was like an exploration
Hmm.
of that, including the funeral of what I could have been had I been like a palatable writer, I guess. Kasi I've been like a writer ever since I was small, but the kind of material I would write isn't really something everybody would like jive with or anything. Most people would like buy like romance ganon. And for a while that kind of like became its own strength in me kasi I learned to hone my art, I guess. Kasi that's
Hmm.
not the only passion I have. But when it comes to I wasn't meant to write the love poem by book, it's more of like a eulogy to the self who would have been. Like the writer ng pangmasa, ganon. I don't have anything
Hmm.
against romance na you'd buy like in the bookshelves sa Filipino. Kasi Filipino it's really in our culture innately to be magnetized towards romance and as a kilig,
Yeah.
ganon, the ones that got away. I'm just really not like that. I don't hate it, but it's really not for me. And there are times when I would go to a bookstore and I feel left out kasi I can't buy the titles I would actually like. Ganon. So
Hmm.
that's the poem for that. I wasn't meant to write the love poems in by book. And there are things I romanticize in my own way, but they're not the kind that other Filipinos would write about. I actually entered like a small writing contest before, natalo ako because
Hmm.
the theme was mostly about like love in the rain in Manila, ganon, like love in Manila, ganon. Natalo ako, I got like a 75, and doon ako na-reflect na, yeah, I really am not meant for these sort of stories. Like, I really should just write for myself, and if other people resonate with that, then good. Then kung hindi, andun pa rin yung self ko. Ganon.
Hmm. It's
Yung
very
second,
expressive.
very expressive, yeah. It's yung I hope your bitterness settles. That's a very bitter poem to somebody I cut off actually. I don't consider this person my friend anymore kasi uh I had this friend for a few years tapos every time we would talk she would always like rant about things to a point where yung mental health ko na sobrang apektuhan na talaga. So it was a really hard decision to make, but I really had to cut her off for my sake. And I kind of like imagined her and I reuniting one morning, ganon. And would I actually want to dine with this person? And medyo sumakit yung loob ko nung na-realize ko na hindi. I wouldn't want to, but I wish them well anyway, ganon. Yung style naman, nag-loaded yung, yung answers ko, sorry, but I was very inspired by E.E. Cummings. I'm not sure if you know who he is. I'm not sure if most of you are familiar. Syempre si Cindy, I know you know who he is, E.E. Cummings. E.E. Cummings and Pablo Neruda, those are my two like biggest influences. And then I also love adding like a Filipino spin to it because I feel like as Filipinos, we have a lot of writers. We have a lot of national writers. We have a lot of national artists for literature. And I just want my own play into that. I don't like na very Western yung mga influences ko in my writing, but I feel like para inevitable siya given like my own upbringing and my own preferences ganon. So I'm trying to like decolonize my writing in a way but to still to still keep it mine ganon. So I hope I answered your questions. Hapon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Christine. Ayun, thank you, Christine, for sharing that with us. Actually, I do have some tips then as well for those of you who are watching right now and also thinking, okay, how do I start? How do I get into writing, or how do I develop my own style? You mentioned the authors that influence you, Christine. You know what? They're not from this generation and also not very Western. Well, I would
Yeah,
say,
Latin America USA, I get
yeah.
that.
So I think for you to develop your own style, you should try to explore all the different kinds of writers, 'di ba? Hindi
Mm,
lang yung nalalagay nila sa box na okay, ito lang yung mga magagaling, ito lang yung tipong, ito lang yung pasok sa box namin, sa kahon namin.
tama.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my tip for everyone who are watching right now and then thinking, okay, saan ba ako magsisimula? And Christine, thank you so much for for sharing that with us, those two poems. So hope we get to have you back again next month.
Thank you.
Um, Ayun, thank you, Christine. And well, last but not the least, we have another writer from Eight Letters. We have Kiko Monteseña, and he's going to read a poem entitled Unawa. Okay, so he's our last poet for today. And well, Montesenya is a multi awarded and published writer, a former college instructor, and he was also a fellow for various writing workshops, including the 55th UP National Writers Workshop. And also, his works span in fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and they have garnered several awards, like the first prize in 2007 for Gawad Commission ng Wikang Pambansa para sa Kwentong Pambata. And there's also several times in KWF's Talaang Ginto in 2013, 2015, and 2021. Very award winning. And that's why I'm saving the best for the last. Well, the National Committee on Literary Arts also awarded him with the first prize of the Gawad Bienvenido Lumbera for poetry in 2022. He's originally from Mahayhay, Laguna and now residing in Angono, Rizal. Ayun, Sir Kiko, good
Salamat.
evening po.
Magandang gabi, Miss Cindy.
Ayan, kita ko po yung mga libro niyo dyan.
Uh,
Mga bagong books from 8 letters.
Dinisplay.
Oo. Ayan po. The floor is yours po whenever you're ready.
Okay. Maraming salamat sa pagkakataon, 8 letters and Miss Cindy. Babasahin ko po ang isa kong tula, Unawa. Tungkol ito sa pagbibigay ng opinion agad-agad nang hindi pa nauunawaan kung ano ba ang lagay ng tao na iyon. No? Kung nasaan posisyon ang tao na iyon, kaya nagagawa niya ang mga bagay-bagay. Okay. Umpisahan po natin. Unawa. Kailangang intindihin kung bakit hindi ko pa magawang palitan ang natungkab na bubong kahit matagal nang lumipas ang bagyo, o bakit hanggang ngayon ay sira ang seradura na winasak na magnanakaw isang gabi na kay sarap ng aking pagtulog. Kahit ako'y nagtatanong kung bakit tingas pa rin ang tasa na paborito kong timplahan ng kapeng walang pait. Nasa lababo ang bubog ng baso na may latay pa ng labi mo. Kailangang intindihin kung bakit dapat makisangkot sa usapin na hindi lamang pampuso. Hindi man dapat pagsawaan ng pag-ibig ay kay hirap dalhin sa dibdib ang ginagatungang ngit-ngit ng araw-araw na pagpihit ng sandali sa natitinikang hininga. At kay hirap lunukin ang mga eksena ng buhay, hindi na ito usapin ng pangungulila. May mga hindi nakasasanay na kwento, tungkab ang bubong, sira ang seradura, pingas na tasa at basag na baso. Hindi ako kumikilos. Hindi makakilos. Sa pananatili ay may ayaw ng maulit. Kung usapin man ito ng puso o ng buhay ngayong kay ilap tumahimik, susuko ang mga walang makakapitan, lalong higit kung hindi mo ako naiintindihan. Unawa. Marami pong salamat.
Ayun, maraming salamat po, Sir Kiko. So, kanina po, nung dinidescribe nyo kung anong klaseng tula ito, sabi nyo tungkol ito sa mga taong basta na lang nagbibigay ng komento or ng walang, sometimes walang masyadong kaalaman doon sa mismong topic o sa kung ano man. Pwede nyo po bang ma-share sa amin kung bakit ito po yung napili nyo at kung bakit, ano yung nag-udyok sa inyo na ito yung, naisulat ito?
Alam mo naman, Cindy, na hindi lingid sa kaalaman mo na nasa grieving situation pa rin ako at hanggang ngayon hindi ako makamove on. Hindi ako naglalabas ng bahay. Introvert na nga ako, lalo pang nadagdagan dahil nga sa pagkamatay ng nanay ko na siyang sentro lang ng sarili ko. Pero unti-unti binubukas ko, lalo na itong poetry night na ito, malaking bagay dahil kahit papano lumalabas na ako at naririnig ng marami. Hirap na hirap pa rin ako at yung iba, bukas naman kasi sa FB yung sarili ko, no? Kaya alam na alam nila kung bakit ganyan at may mga hindi nakakaintindi ng sitwasyon. So ito yung pinili kong tula para makita nila na napakahirap talaga. Napakahirap mawalan. No, naiiyak na tuloy ako. So, yun nga. So, gusto kong maunawaan ng mambabasa na yung simpati ba, no? Na kahit papano, kahit hindi ka na lang magsalita, kung wala kang sasabing maganda, ka na lang magsalita. Yung mga ganyan ba? Yun lang support na.
Naku, nakikiramay po ako, Sir Kiko. At pangalawa po, mayroon po kayong punto dyan sa sinasabi ninyo. Totoo na marami talaga. Hindi lang Pinoy, siguro sa buong mundo din ganyan, no? Pero ang hirap din naman na pagsabihan sila or mahirap na i-explain o ipaliwanag pa sa kanila na hindi na kailangan.
Wala kasi tayong control sa action ng iba. Yung control natin sa sarili natin. So, mahirap talaga.
Tama po. Anak ko, araw-araw ko rin po yung nararanasan, pero siguro I would say na hindi lahat ay mature at hindi lahat may control sa kanilang mga sarili kung kailan sila magsasalita or kailan sila hindi magsasalita. Ayun po. Maraming salamat po sa pag-share nito, Sir Kiko. Sana po, ang ganda ng tula. Sana magkaroon tayo ng kopya niyan para naman ma-post din po natin. At sana kayo sa susunod naming, makasama kayo sa susunod naming poetry night.
Ay, sige po.
Ito pong mga libro na nasa harap natin ngayon, gusto ko lang din pong ipakilala. Available sila sa ating website, no? Pero baka gusto nyo pong i-share din po since naka-front sila.
Okay. So, ang una ko pong libro, actually, ito yata ang unang poetry book ng 8 letters. Ang lahat ng mga nilikha, makapal po ito, no, available pa rin sa online site natin, Lazada and Shopee. Pisil sa Puso, mga love poems po ito. And then yung Gambala natin, bunga nung zine natin. At ikinatutuwa ko at exciting ako doon sa etong latest na, kasi novel to, nobeleta, at ito lang yung una kong pagtatangka na magsulat ng ganong kahaba na lumagpas ng 10,000 words. So palukso-lukso ako ng genre, pero ang pinaka focus ko talaga ay poetry, pero minsan nakakasawa rin eh. Kailangan natin mag-experiment na ibang genre. So yun. So tangkilikin po natin yung mga bagong release ng 8 letters. So wag kalimutan ang Saltik Basag ang Pula. So yun
Ah,
po. Isang
ayan, bago po yan.
crime thriller.
Crime.
Opo.
Ayan, very exciting. So sabi nga kanina, Sir Kiko, puro tula, collection ng tula yan, yung mga sinusulat niya. But this time around, supportahan po natin yung ibang genre naman ni Sir Kiko. Ayun, maraming salamat po, Sir Kiko.
Salamat, Miss Cindy.
Ayun, maraming salamat sa lahat ng nanood at sa lahat ng mga manunulat at poet na nag-perform ng kanilang mga tula. Ngayong gabi, we are trying to organize a monthly online poetry night. So, sana magawa ulit natin. Pangalawang beses na po natin itong ginagawa. So, nung una was last April. This time is May. At abangan nyo po, in the next few days, magkakaroon ulit kami ng form. Magpo-post ulit kami ng form kung gusto nyong mag-perform sa aming online poetry night. So, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed. And also, hope to see you again next month. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Maraming salamat.